I guess I started drawing pretty much when I could hold a pencil, and then I started drawing comics in like fifth grade with one of my friends. It was like, if I remember correctly, it was like something to do with aliens and like really big-headed characters that were really wonky. Um, let's see. I went to college in California. So I grew up in New Hampshire, went to college in California, and actually studied animation. And then after I graduated, I bounced around a little bit and I did like some stop motion animation gigs. I worked as a barista for a little while, and I worked at this little art studio that did resin painting. It was actually kind of cool. So I didn't start getting into books until like a few years after that, when my dad was a writer and he had a novel that he was publishing, and he was like, I need some illustrations for this, would you do them for me? And I was like, yeah, of course. So that's how that started. And then he posted on Twitter for this hashtag HitMad. I think it's called HitMad. And that's how my agent found me. And then we've just been making books ever since.
And your agent is Laura Bradford of the Bradford Agency?
Yep.
Gotcha. And so all kinds of questions about certainly working with your father, which I assume you're enjoying because you've got what, 1, 2, 3, soon to be, or 2, soon to be 3 books available?
Yeah, 2 that I worked on with him, 1 that I did myself, and then we're working on another one right now.
Gotcha. And so when you were growing up and you start to show that you have an aptitude for art, do you think there's a part of him that's thinking, one day, I think I see my future illustrator?
Maybe. I don't know. We did a different interview very recently where we kind of touched on that too, and he jokingly was like, yeah, my wife and I, that was our plan the whole time, to have kids and then make them our creative partners and make them do work for us. But I don't know. I don't think so. I think it just kind of fell into that, and I think it's really cool that I happen to have a lot of similar interests to my parents, and it just worked out that way.
Sure. And so when you're working in stop motion and animation, that always strikes me as both amazing and incredibly tedious. It's wonderful to sit back and watch, The Nightmare Before Christmas when it's complete. But how long of a setup are we taking, and how long does it take you to get a project completed?
For animation, let's see, when I was in school and I did my senior project was a stop motion animated film, and it was like, I think like 5 minutes long, but it took me the entire semester to do it. I'd spent 1 semester creating the whole set and the puppets and everything from scratch, and then the second semester filming it. And yeah, it's a long process, but I think that actually kind of helped because bookmaking is also a really long process, so it kind of helped build up that like endurance that you need to keep going on projects, I think.
So let's dive right into Squashed. On a project like Squashed, how long does it take you to complete a graphic novel?
Depends on the graphic novel, I guess. Usually I can get through, like today I'm working on a new one that's like a part 2 to Dweedy, pretty much, and I'm just doing the line work, and I can get through like roughly 3 pages a day if I'm sitting down, but like just sketching it out and everything. Yeah, it depends on how long the book is. Squashed, I wasn't working on it full time yet, so it was kind of like I had a full-time job and then was doing that on the side as well. So I want to say it took a little over a year to complete it, and that one's only like 70 pages long.
That was the full-time job where you were creating resin art.
Yeah.
So is that when you're working and doing art like that, does that when you come home, it's just like, oh, more work? Or is it a different enough art when you're doing a graphic novel versus resin art that it's like a whole new thing?
I think it's different enough that I'm still motivated enough, especially when it's like working on somebody else's art versus working on my own. Like I'm obviously way more passionate about doing the stuff that's just my own and what I want to do. So yeah, it's not too hard.